So they, what, back in 2014, they passed. That created total imbalance of visual from grass road all the way, or grass road south, all the way into what? Hickory, forward. And then they had a 4 mile buffer service in that area. So, but they never had actually filed the resolution or the ordinance with the IURC. And so last night, because we didn't hear this things for water service, water and sewer service, water sewer district or Microsoft. They got pissed at us and then reasserted their dominance over that area.
Try pressing alt tab.
They do.
They do that?
Oh, yeah. Supposedly.
They have to get approval from them.
Yeah, so they filed it years ago, or they didn't file it, they're going to file now. But basically the 4 mile buffer covers. So I guess I say all of that to say, we haven't made a decision yet if we're gonna, basically Michelin said, well, we control our sewer. So if we were.
He didn't answer.
We're gonna have this. So for us,
Yeah, he's pretty reliable. It's just kind of concerning.
It is kind of concerning.
I don't know that we want to spend our time, so I think.
They would annex it in relation.
Right. Yep.
So really the county gets no benefit.
Other than just the minuscule amount that the underlying tax units get. So that was part of the reason.
He's
why we
retired.
were here.
He has one number listed. I don't even know if it's a home or something.
So yeah, so to answer your question, I don't know. I haven't looked at doing fifth district expansion, but I don't know that we made a decision.
That's so bad.
Yeah, on a separate one. So it's like, is it we're picking a fight with our cousins, just like a fight.
They have to get, so they have to.
Oh, they would never get us.
They're running their sewer district up. They're running the sewer district up to the state, water sewer up to the state.
Yeah,
They
so
do now, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so
this is
will.
after last night.
yeah, so they'll control that whole area. But then they have the ability to deny the water and sewer. So if there are. There has been service in city of Charlotte in service. And so it creates a whole complicated service areas like responsibility and stuff like that. So,
Okay.
so to answer your question, I don't know.
So, yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so it was undercover darkness. They filed the resolution late Friday night and stuck to the back. Nobody got noticed. They did a first and they suspended their rules to do a second reading last night, so they could pass it all in one fell swoop. So there was a little bit of news on it.
So,
There's an article in the paper that might explain it.
Yeah.
well, I can go dig that.
Okay,
It looks
I think we're ready now.
like.
Can you hear me now? No?
Yeah, yeah.
Nope.
They're building a big.
It is
Yeah,
on.
okay. All right, thank you, everybody, for waiting. We do now have enough for a quorum, so I will go ahead and get started. The time is now 3:37. And I call the April 15th meeting of the St. Joseph County Area Plan Commission to order. This meeting is being held in person and virtually on the fourth floor chambers of the County City Building. We will first ask for any public comment for those in the chambers, then from members in the public attending remotely. For public comment from those attending remotely, please use the raise hand function or message the host in the chat function. Please clearly state your name and address for the record. We ask that board members state their name when making a motion and a second. At this time, please silence your cell phone so they do not disturb the meeting. Amy, can we have the roll call, please?
Mr. England. Mr. Dieter. Miss Hannon.
Here.
Dr. Lauk.
Here.
Miss Kelly.
Here.
Mr. Matzat.
Present.
Mr. Tavernier.
Here.
Dr. Thacker. Mr. Devon.
Present.
And you.
Thank you, Amy. We are a 9-member commission. We have 5 members present and 5 members present in person and 1 attending virtually today. Any petitioner would prefer to have their petition heard with more members present. They may ask staff to have their item tabled to a future meeting when more members might be present. I'd also like to welcome our newest member, Lori Kelly. Thank you and welcome for joining. With that, before we get on the public hearings, we do have an appointment of the new plat committee member. Randy James asked that we, the new deputy building commissioner, be as an alternate on the plat committee, Andrew Spittles. So we need a motion to approve that.
Dr. Lauk, I make a motion to approve Andy Spittles.
Second that motion, Eugene Matzat.
We have a motion and a second to approve Andrew Spittles to the alternate plat committee member. Roll call vote, please.
Miss Hannon.
Yes.
Dr. Lauk.
Yes.
Mr. Matzat.
Yes.
Miss Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Tavernier.
Yes.
Mr. Devon.
Yes. Motion carries. Okay, we have one item, one rezoning. Can we have the reading of that, please?
A proposed ordinance of Heritage Land Operations LLC to zone from A Agricultural District to I Industrial District. Property located at unaddressed 40 plus or minus acre parcel immediately southwest of the intersection of Cleveland Road and Current Road, St. Joe County, APC number 3064-25.
This is Sean Klein, Area Plan Commission staff. This is a petition to rezone the approximately 40 acres on the south side of Cleveland, just west of Current Road that's outlined on the screen. As you can see, property to the west, east, and to the south of the parcel is zoned I Industrial, along with property on the north side of Cleveland immediately to the northeast of this parcel. These properties were rezoned from agricultural to I Industrial to allow for a data center use just last year. This final 40 acres here is now being rezoned so that it can be developed alongside these industrially zoned parcels in a cohesive manner to allow for a future data center use. As I mentioned, to the southeast, west, and northeast, it is zoned I Industrial. Immediately to the north, it is zoned A Agricultural, and that is a cultivated farm. And then to the northwest, it's zoned R Single Family, and those are larger parcels that appear to be farmed as well. This is the property from Cleveland Road looking southwest, looking directly south from Cleveland Road. It's the Cleveland Road frontage of the subject property. And then the subject property looking southeast from Cleveland Road as well. The site plan provided does provide for a proposed data center building. It also shows existing pipeline and power line easements in the area. If this particular parcel were to get direct access to Cleveland Road, along with the rest of the development, that would be subject to county engineer approval as far as where these entrances are. And a traffic study will be required to determine what future roadway improvements may be necessary for this new use. Additionally, the petitioner is providing the written commitments that are on your screen. These are consistent with the 2024 rezoning for the data center in this vicinity. So basically a prohibition of a number of heavy industrial uses and off-premise signs. Again, a traffic impact study will be provided per county engineer's requirements. And then the third and fourth written commitment don't pertain specifically to this property, but they are consistent with the written commitments that the rest of the subject site is under. So out of consistency, and so there's not confusion in the future, the petitioner is proposing these here as well. That is the minimum 200-foot green space buffer along Jude Creek. Again, it doesn't pertain specifically because Jude Creek doesn't run through this parcel, but it does the broader development. And then similarly, the property shall meet local, state, and federal regulations in regard to wetland, floodway, and floodway fringe, which is found elsewhere on the broader site. Turning to the state law criteria, we feel that the rezoning is consistent with Economic Development Goal 1, which is promote identified areas and corridors as prime locations for new investment. Specifically, this falls within Area 6, which is the Capitol and McKinley Avenue priority area. Per the future land use map of the 2045 comprehensive plan, light industrial use is anticipated at this property, specifically related to business, technology, or research parks. And we feel that a data center use with the proposed written commitments would be consistent with these recommended land uses. Per the 2003 Capitol Avenue plan, recreational and open space use is recommended in this general area. However, when you read the basis for this recommendation, it is related to preventing development along Jude Creek and respecting the tendency for flooding in that area. We feel that these goals are advanced sufficiently through proposed written commitments 3 and 4 to have that buffer and respect all federal and DNR flood hazard areas. The site is currently a cultivated farm field. However, over time, growth in Mishawaka as it's grown to the east, as well as the development of large residential subdivisions in the county to the north, south, and to the east of this subject property, have likely increased traffic on county roads in this vicinity such that agricultural use is now less than ideal in this small remaining agricultural area on the south side of Harris Township. Similarly, given the coming availability of sewer and water service, as well as the proximity of major arterial roads and the Indiana Toll Road, as well as extremely sparse nearby residential uses, we feel that the most desirable use for this property would be light industrial. Turning to conservation of property values, again, all residential use appears to be heavily distanced from the developable portion of this site, such that we don't believe there'll be any impact on ongoing residential value of these properties. And finally, we do believe that it's responsible development and growth to allow light industrial development along a major arterial where the appropriate utilities will be available to support that development. As such, this comes to you from staff with a favorable recommendation subject to the written commitments. So we recommend that this be sent to the county council favorably, subject to those commitments, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Sean, do you want to note the letter we got?
Oh, yes, I apologize. We did receive one letter in support of this rezoning. They cited that since the property is zoned industrial on three sides, this would be the next logical step to allow for cohesive development. And they note that there's really not that much remaining agricultural property in the area.
And that was from the farmer on the property to the south, I believe.
Correct.
Yep. So also I'd like to note real quick, or
Other side.
right,
Was
Yeah.
it the petitioner? Because that name is on the petition too.
Joseph Leininger.
Yes.
I'd also like to note Dr. Thacker did show up, so he is on Zoom as well too. So we do have another member. Welcome, Dr. Thacker. Looks like, is he the property owner then?
Be a son.
Must be his LLC.
Any questions before we have the presentation?
Good afternoon, Angela Smith from Dan Turner and Associates with offices located on 1643 Commerce Drive. I will address that item right off the bat since you're asking the question. Yes, they own this parcel, but they also own the parcel to the north, which will be the only remaining neighbor effectively by this development, other than the previous owners of St. Joe Farms who were involved in this as well. Interestingly, this particular 40 acres was a portion of the Brothers of the Holy Cross property when it was originally developed. It's kind of remained in here and has transferred hands. As you can see, and as the staff outlined, thank you for the staff report, Sean. The property is essentially surrounded by industrial on three sides. And then you have the very heavily traveled Cleveland Road. At the time, the balance of the property that for this project was rezoned, this was not available to be included. Since then, the opportunity has come up for this to be included as part of the development. This will help ease in the development of this property as things are explored, such as the traffic impact study, which is already underway. That impact study is not looking at just the use of the site, but the demand of the county as a whole in this region, as well as extending utilities. So this part will help with assisting that as we go through. Since the last time we were before you for the rezoning of the larger property, one of the key changes is the adoption of the new comprehensive plan. And the new comprehensive plan, which was started even prior to the adoption of the rezoning for the larger parcel, this was drafted and anticipated and now approved to be industrial as future land use with the intent of the business park, which this use is in line with. The commitments that we offered, we understand that there's a couple that are not applicable to this particular parcel, but we just wanted to make sure that when somebody looked at this project, they didn't think that we were somehow leaving those off for the larger project or anything like that. So in discussion with staff, we went ahead and just made the written commitments identical to what was passed under the previous rezoning. The site plan provided is just conceptual. We wanted to demonstrate just uses on the property. This project is still very early in the design stages. As you can imagine, it's hard to design the site until you know whether or not this is part of your design. So they're just starting to look at this. So this isn't necessarily reflective of what will be built. It's just what could be under the district. We know that there's a lot to still be determined in terms of where the utilities will be located, where access is located, how the buildings are situated on the site. So this was just as a representation. As you can see in some of these photos, you can see why, in addition to the increase in traffic as mentioned by staff, farming can be challenged in this area, which was part of what led to this area being designated as the future land use for industrial business park, because there's a lot that has to go into maintaining these soils, which are not ideal for farming, and going along with that, as well as what we discussed in the previous rezoning, that this use will be able to benefit the Jude Creek area, as it will help reduce the number of nitrates and stuff that you see from farming. Essentially, what we're asking for today is a favorable recommendation on the rezoning to help us have a cohesive development site to incorporate this one kind of island of a property south of Cleveland into the larger development, which will help protect the use of that as well by making sure that it's still viable as a use other than just agricultural. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Angela. Any questions by the commission this time? EJ, Dr. Thacker, you good?
Have and this isn't really geared towards Angela, but for this traffic study that's being done for the original facility that was going to be on St. Joe Farms, has anything been started with that yet? Does
So
anybody?
the traffic study is well underway. I don't know that we have any first drafts, but they've been working closely with the county engineering department to make sure that it encompasses all of the areas, not just, like I mentioned, not just for this project area, but the larger county as a whole in this region, as the traffic on Cleveland has long been a point of contention in the county, even before something like this came on. So, I mean, I can remember back 12 years ago that being discussed and accommodated under the development of the property to the west of the railroad. So yes, it's underway.
Thanks, Angela.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you. I'll now open this to the public. Anybody present wishing to speak in favor of this petition, please come forward, state your name and address. You have 3 minutes.
Good afternoon, Bill Shalio, Economic Development Director with offices on the 7th and 11th floors as part of the Department of Infrastructure Planning and Growth. Here today to support this rezoning request. By adding this 38 acres into the total mix, it allows for the site plan to be more cohesive, allows for some better planning to be done along the Jude Creek corridor. The infrastructure study that Angela just referenced is being done, so this create some cohesion on that plan. So it really fits. And so we would just ask for your consideration of this rezoning at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of this petition? Seeing none. Anybody online wishing to speak in favor of this petition, please use the raise hand function. Seeing none. Anybody present wishing to speak against this petition, please come forward and state your name and address. You have 3 minutes.
Good afternoon, Steve Francis, Jude Lake Drive, Clay Township. Good to see you all again. Yeah, I rise to speak in opposition to this, knowing that it's a small parcel, but let's look at the game of dominoes that occurred out in the IEC area west and what appears to be occurring out here in the industrial zone east now. Last year, as you know, you approved and the county council did the approval of rezoning about 900 acres for Microsoft to build their data centers. They spoke or their representatives spoke to put those data centers up in the northeast corner up against the toll road so that there wouldn't be a lot of noise and traffic result from that. Now, of course, we see, oh, the justification is it's surrounded by industrial zone. So let's go ahead and add this 40-acre parcel. And then I presume that triangle parcel, which was the positive support letter that you received, will be next in line. And then moving east, let's go on out to the county line with full development from Capitol Avenue clear out to the county. It's a piecemeal process that's occurring here, not a result of really solid land use planning, in my view. We're going to see the same thing happen out here with a lot of obstacles and a lot of people upset because of the development in an area that's much more congested and much more populated than in the IEC West area. I would like to state something about the Jude Creek situation too. 100 feet on each side is only 25 feet more than what is legally required at the Drainage Board. The Jude Creek Task Force, which is attached to the Drainage Board, recommended a 300-foot buffer. I would like to see Microsoft make the commitment that they are going to go beyond what's required. Just 25 feet is from me here to the table. It's not enough. to really protect that creek. It also needs to be developed in a way that is natural and restores the function of the creek if we're going to see the improvements from agriculture. I'd like to see the representatives and Microsoft sit down with the residents out there and those of us who live downstream to talk about perhaps protecting that area, since it's a flood zone far beyond the 100 feet. And also needs to be developed in a way that is natural and restores the creek's functions and the eco service resources that creek serves for a 14-mile area all the way to the St. Joe River. So I ask that you, if you approve this, that you play a stronger role as the Area Plan Commission in seeing that these areas are developed appropriately. The data centers are popping up like mushrooms. The electricity requirements of data centers are enormous, and the land use versus the jobs created are way out of whack. It also destroys, again, more agricultural land that should be preserved in St. Joe County. So thank you for your listening to me, and I hope that we can work together to protect the vital green space areas and streams that exist in this county.
Thank you, Steve. Anybody else wishing to speak against this petition? Seeing none. Anybody on Zoom? We have Charlotte. Go ahead, Charlotte.
Hi, Charlotte Wolf, 21439 Osborne Road, Lakeville. And I'm going to echo a few of the things that Steve just said, that the fact that this property is surrounded on all sides by industrial because the comprehensive plan didn't include this area, because the plan was delayed and the rezoning happened without the guidance of the plan. So it's kind of like you said, like a domino effect. I do thank you for the transparency, though, of what is going to go in here, unlike at the IEC where we were not told, and that may not have been the fault of the county, but still, we didn't know what was going in there. Now we do know that these data centers are going in. And what is the matter with our county with these data centers? There's so much research showing that they don't have the jobs to justify the outlay of the county in terms of the direct tax abatements, the water, the electricity, the energy use that they take. They're a no-win situation. And I just do not understand why this county is pursuing this type of development. The other thing that I wanted to suggest with this infrastructure, the arterial infrastructure, of course it's there because the rest of the property was rezoned before and not including the comprehensive plan advice. And the pictures that say it's not ideal for farming because it's wet. It's the same deal as you had over in the IEC, except this is a much more delicate area. The creek has so many more opportunities for recreating the meanders in the creek, reestablishing the natural beauty of the creek, it being a park, which is definitely a needed value in our county. We need parks as well as industrial space and agriculture space. So I guess what I would like to know is, what is the distance between the south edge of the new property ask and Judy Creek? And perhaps from that distance and to the next farm field over there on the south, why don't we just create a zone of habitat restoration and let the data center, if it has to come, be up in the northeast part, and let this area be restored Judy Creek? Maybe even swap this particular property for the southern, between Judy Creek and this property, and then south of Judy Creek. Judy Creek has been channelized, so it's not really functioning as a creek. It needs to have the meanders put back in and be restored as a natural habitat. So I would advocate that the county work with the property, looking at it from a land use planning perspective, instead of just what is available and what these data centers are trying to talk us into. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte. Anybody else on Zoom wishing to speak against this petition? Please use the raise hand feature. Mary, go ahead.
I'm Mary Fetcherman, 52959 Timothy Road, New Carlisle. I would like to say I agree with Steve Francis and Charlotte Wolf. My biggest complaint is the excuse that's been used of, well, it's already agriculture, or it's already rezoned from ag to industrial over here. And the other properties already rezoned from ag to industrial, so we might as well rezone this, but that's not a valid reason. It's a horrible excuse. By that reasoning, this entire county is gonna be industrial, and every one of us is gonna have industrial right across the street from us. It needs to stop. It's not a valid reason. It's not a best use reason, because it all was agriculture to start with. And it's not responsible planning to just say, well, because this is, we're gonna make that. Because this is, we're gonna make that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Anybody else on Zoom wishing to speak against? Seeing none, I will now close this to the public. Angela, you have 10 minutes to rebut.
Thank you. As you guys all know, I am a planner by trade and by heart. If this had not gone through a very extensive, comprehensive plan for this area, I may agree that this is not responsible planning or that there run risks of this. However, just to clarify on the timing of this, the comp plan was already drafted before the petition was even filed for the larger parcel, which is not part of today's discussion. Today's only about these 38 to 40 acres. The comp plan is very clear. That's a very long process. That is responsible planning. It did take input from all of the residents across the county, had multiple public hearings, and ultimately adopted by the council. So that is in fact what rules now, and why the rezoning process emphasizes so much the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan for this area shows it as industrial for a tech park, which is completely consistent with what the petition is asking for today. As far as the Juday Creek Task Force, I met with them personally. They never asked for a number higher than what was provided. We had a great conversation. We plan to continue to work with them as the larger property develops. In terms of this particular parcel, this doesn't even touch Juday Creek. As we mentioned, again, we just included that because we wanted to be consistent across this. No additional requirements can be placed on a property not before the commission today. So while we appreciate the comments from the public, that's not something we can entertain at this time. And in terms of the development, yes, we did say that the first phase would likely happen at the northeast corner, but at no point did we commit to only building at the northeast corner of the site. This is a very process. There's a lot of things we have to factor in. We have to factor in where the utilities are coming from the municipal water and sewer, from the electricity standpoint, and as well as whatever impact may come out of the traffic study. It's quite possible that once the traffic study is implemented, this particular property would be impacted anyway from the expansion that would need to happen. And so our client really felt it was responsible to go ahead and offer to acquire that property from the property owner so as to not place any undue burden on them for this as well. So all of this is still very early on. They've been committed this entire time to being good neighbors. We are working on plans for Juday Creek and the larger assistance to the county as a whole. And I don't anticipate that stopping at this point. This is an exciting opportunity for the county. I think I hit all the points, but I'd happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
My only question is why this was not included in the first round. You said that it wasn't available at that time. Was it just a matter of selling or?
So I actually don't know why. I don't know. I think there may have been some introductory conversations, but at the time the property owner chose, either wasn't at a point where they were ready to make that decision, or perhaps they wanted to wait to see if the other portion went because they didn't want to commit to something that they weren't comfortable with. At this point, they're the primary neighbor of this, and they just feel like it's logical to include this in that larger development. It's harder for them to continue to farm it, even without this going to industrial. It's getting harder and harder to farm smaller parcels.
Anybody else have any questions? No? DJ, Dr. Thacker, you good?
I've got comments. I don't have
Go ahead.
questions.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, you and I and multiple people on that room or in that room and on Zoom were all part of this comp plan. And there were many public hearings that were held. And one of my questions that I was going to ask is if Angela had met with the Judy Creek Task Force, and clearly she has, right? Couple things that I have is, you know, just because your buddy jumps off of a bridge doesn't mean that you're going to do it too, right? And I guess the question I have for staff is where are we going to allow this to stop? Because once we zone this stuff industrial, there's just no going back. And so what is the plan? And looking at the comp plan, I have it. What is our plan to try to isolate this to one area and not continue to allow this to go and go and go and go? So that's more of my question, right? I don't want the other side of bittersweet to all of a sudden say, you know, this is all industrial over here, and why can't we do this here? And then we're going all the way out to other areas. So I just want to keep this in mind, because once we lose this, it's lost. We can't rezone this back to something, back to agricultural, right? I appreciate everybody that talked today. And I think there is a lot more. I'm really worried about the traffic study, and I went through this when Microsoft was doing their petition originally, because Cleveland Road is a dumpster fire, Capitol is a dumpster fire, and the intersection at Capitol and Cleveland is a dumpster fire to turn no matter which way you're trying to go. And all this is going to do is add to the aggravation and to the traffic for however long it takes for it to be built, right? So I would really like, this is the unfortunate part here, is that we have to be the first step because we don't have all the answers later on down the line. And we can't go back and change because some different information came up. So that's all I got. Sorry for ranting, but those are my comments.
I do have a question.
Good.
Since we don't have an image of the comp plan for this area, is this parcel in fact within the industrial piece? Is there a way we could pull up like an image of that, or for this? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is in fact within an area that's calling for industrial use. Specifically, we have it as industrial, and then it's overlaid with business, tech, and research park. If you want to visualize it quickly, it's fine, right?
As long as you make a copy of it.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I can take your word for it. That's fine. Thank you.
Pulling off what DJ was saying, does on the comp plan, what you have out there, is it show kind of that breaking point at what is it, bittersweet? Is it further? Is it?
Yeah, in terms of Harris Township, it's kind of shown up to the toll road, but not really too far east of Bittersweet. Into a couple parcels, it appears, but mainly when you get east of Bittersweet, that's reserved for residential use in the future.
Hear that, DJ?
Yeah, yes, I do, but
Yeah.
It's not guaranteed. I just want to make sure that we're following. This is in the comp plan. I should have said that. I'm sorry. This is in the comp plan. And again, multiple public hearings were held with multiple people that are on this call and in that room. So
Gene, you got anything?
Yeah, I'd like to make just a couple comments. I appreciate the comment about the cohesiveness of this area for development, adding this 40 acres to the rest that's been zoned industrial. But again, I'm expressing concerns like DJ had of reaching a tipping point, I guess you might say, of going from agriculture to industrial or other uses, specifically non-ag uses, that once you get to that tipping point, it's no turning back. And what's kind of tragic in this sense is that the St. Joe Farms had been in agriculture, a strong heritage there of agriculture through the years, and some really good ground. Now, again, the pictures that were shown, showing that there's water standing on it. That happens periodically, and it seems like more frequently through these years, even though according to current administration, we don't have climate change going on. Okay, but there is definitely. And what also is sad is that when in 2024, we considered the zoning change from industrial or from ag to industrial for the St. Joe County farm, that the people that farmed it, the Leininger family, testified or remonstrated against that zoning change. And yet now, because they do have the right to sell the land and included in this package here, and I respect that right, but it is a conversion of ag land to other uses. And so that'll reduce the amount of their base. I guess they could do like others have done and take advantage of that supposed big profit that they would get from this to buy other ag land and maybe more ag land elsewhere. But again, it is reaching kind of a tipping point that, you know, where do we stop from here? We do need to support agriculture in this county, but we do need to support other development. But where does, you know, where's the balance? I guess is my question.
Yeah, I mean, I will add, looking at the map, yeah, I guess I didn't realize when we first zoned it that that wasn't part of it, but looking at it right now, being as right on Cleveland and as close as capital as it is, I think it makes the most sense to go to that, you know, consistent with the rest of the industrial. So I would agree with that there. But I also agree with DJ on we need to find that stopping point. But I think that's more in the heart of right in that main area, as long as we can, if they can get that infrastructure that they need. But yeah, I mean, going east, Bittersweet's not designed and built for much more on top of that. So I would be in favor of that just because of the proximity where that's at to Capitol and right on Cleveland. But is there any other comments or questions? Otherwise, do we have a motion?
Dr. Lauk, I make a motion that APC number 3064-25 be sent to the county council with a favorable recommendation, subject to the proposed written comments.
What's that?
We're good.
Okay,
Commitments, but yes.
we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Motion by Dr. Lauk and seconded by DJ Tavernier for APC 3064-25 to send to the St. Joseph County Council with a favorable recommendation subject to the written commitments. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Dr. Thacker,
Yes.
Ms. Hannon,
Yes.
Dr. Lauk,
Yes.
Mr. Matzett,
No.
Ms. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Tavernier,
Yes.
Mr. Devon.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. We do have an item not requiring a public hearing. The last couple months, we have, since Abby has left, we created a search committee and for hiring of the new executive director that was vacant. Currently, Sean's been filling in as interim the last, since Abby has left. We had a search committee comprised of the executive committee, which is myself, Tom England, and Dr. Thacker, as well as the president of the BZA, DJ Tavernier, the president of the Board of Commissioners, and the president of the county council was involved in that as well. And we had a number of candidates apply for the role, and we narrowed it down to a few. And do we need a resolution, or do we have a resolution number on
There's
this?
one.
Is it on that?
It's on the one in the packet. It's 26925.
We have a resolution number 269-25 for hiring of Sean Klein as the new executive director. And that was unanimous by our committee. So if there's any other comments or questions, we will need a motion and approval on that.
Eugene Mattson. I would gladly make a nomination of Sean Klein as our Area Plan Commission Director, as presented in the resolution.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution number 269-25. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Hannon,
Yes.
Dr. Lauk,
Yes.
Mr. Matzat,
Yes.
Ms. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Tavernier,
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Thacker,
Yes.
Mr. Devon.
Yes. Motion carries.
What'd you hesitate for, Adam?
Still want to top you, DJ. Congratulations and welcome aboard again, Sean. I guess not really welcome aboard, but permanently. So officially. So thank you. Do we have an executive director's report? I guess we do a little bit.
Yeah, just a summary of what happened with the last rezonings you saw. So northeast corner of Spruce Road and US 20, which was the Hedgecroft PUD, that was approved by the county council. The rezoning on State Road 23 from B to C to allow for the car wash use, that was withdrawn by the petitioner following the APC hearing. That's all I got. Also, welcome Lori Kelly.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Sean. We do have a minutes to approve. Anybody have a chance to look those over?
I'll make the motion that the minutes be approved as presented.
Second.
Dr. Lauk, second.
Sorry.
Sorry.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of March 18th, 2025. We have a vote, please. For the minutes.
Ms. Hannon,
Yes. Approved.
Dr. Lauk,
Yes.
Mr. Matzat,
Yes.
Ms. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Tavernier,
Yes.
Dr. Thacker,
Yes.
Mr. Devon.
Yes. You wanna? We have one thing. Carl would like to speak before we adjourn.
Yeah, before we adjourn, I wanted to tell the board that this was my last area plan commission hearing. I took another job, so I really appreciated it. I've been here for 2.5 years. Yeah, and thank you very much.
Sean finally got him.
He did finally give me.
Thank you for all your work.
Thank you.
Carl, I appreciate all the work. You've done a great job. We're gonna miss you. So,
Carl, I'm gonna miss you.
I know. I was too afraid to text you.
I wish you would have told me ahead of time.
all right, thank you. Do we have a motion for adjournment if there's no other business?
Dr. Lauk, I make a motion to adjourn.
Dr. Thacker, second.
A motion, a second for adjournment. Can we have a vote, please?
Ms. Hannon,
Yes.
Dr. Lauk,
Yes.
Mr. Matsett,
Yes.
Ms. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Tavernier,
Yes.
Mr. Thacker, or Dr.
Yes.
Thacker,
Yes.
Mr. Devon.
Yes. Motion adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
See you guys. Thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like you can say Sean got elevated, so Carl ran away.
For the minutes. I wasn't here at the previous meeting.